Rodri from Atletico Madrid. This is what Atleti English said. Manchester City paid Rodrigo's buyout clause at La Liga headquarters. The player has unilaterally terminated his contract with our club. This is what Sid had to say about Rodri last week.
Well, I think he's very, very good indeed. I think this is a footballer that positionally in that deep midfield role has just about everything. He inevitably gets likened to Sergio Busquets all the time. I mean, all the time. You almost can't go more than 5 seconds of anyone mentioning Rodri without someone saying, oh, and he's the new Sergio Busquets. In theory, at least, he could even do some of the things that Busquets doesn't do. Physically, he's a bit more imposing. He's a little stronger. He's a fraction quicker. But fundamentally, his game is about positional sense. It's about reading things in advance. It's about the passing ability. I think if he can adapt quickly to the Premier League and to that City side, and I think, you know, he's a signing that makes complete sense. And in a way, I suppose, he is the closest thing to Busquets. And of course, it was Guardiola who took Busquets from almost total anonymity and into the Barcelona first team, what is it, a decade ago or so now. And this is a player who I think he will see as being someone who fits very, very closely with Guardiola's ideal of how you play the game. I think he's a great footballer, and I think in a way it's a surprise that Barcelona themselves weren't more interested a year ago when his buyout clause was just over 20 million instead of now when it's 70 million.
Sid doesn't get another fee for that, by the way, just in case you were worried. Taking a look at Rodri, the second most tackles in La Liga last season. Just the 6 caps with Spain. Again, I suppose, George, you could argue this is a bit of a gamble from Manchester City. Is this someone who just comes in and automatically replaces Fernandinho, or is it going to take a while?
Maybe not automatically, but it's certainly the successor to Fernandinho, who's 33 and will turn 34 in the next season. So they needed someone else to be there. Gundogan obviously has only 1 year left on his contract, so he hasn't renewed yet, so he's more towards the exit than anything else. And I think Rodri and the Man City scout and Pep Guardiola, I think himself went to watch him a couple of times this season, know everything about him, and I agree with Sid, he fits perfectly. I'm even surprised that they didn't do it even earlier, even on the 1st of July or the 31st at midnight when the transfer window opened, and that they had to wait a couple more days. But it makes a lot of sense for them to find Rodri. And you know what, even if it doesn't work out in England for him because he struggles a bit with the new culture or the pace of the game or whatever, he will always go back to Spain to a top club there, and they will always get their money back City anyway. So not so much a gamble for me, more a very, very great signing.
Makes sense for City, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ticks all those boxes.
Yeah, fantastic. He's a great player. He's at 23 years old. It took Fernandinho 26, 27.
Yeah.
So he's ahead of the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if this time next year we're talking about him as being the starter,
really?
And Fernandinho being the guy that will give him a break.
I agree, and especially when you see how City struggled when Fernandinho was missing due to injury. I think that this acquisition is a brilliant piece of work by Pep Guardiola. I will say, as close as it is to Fernandinho, I think he gets forward a little bit more and maybe adds even greater attacking options for City going forward. I think it's a wonderful signing, money very well spent.
So if I'm City, I'm thinking, good, all right, that's the successor to Fernandinho. But if I'm also thinking, Jules, I'm a bit concerned if anyone has seen Otamendi, of course, in the Copa America, he is definitely nowhere near where you want him to be to defend your title. Obviously, Vincent Kompany off as well. City need another defender, or at least another defender, maybe 2.
Yeah, maybe 2, you're right. Unless John Stones somehow and somewhere recovers his form, his best form, and I'm not even sure that at his best he would go back to that City team. Laporte is a certain starter, and then obviously there's Otamendi, Stones, as we said, or a new signing, and I really believe they will sign another centre-half, a big one, and maybe another one to come as a cover if you want, but they really need someone because Stones, as we saw in the last 6 months of last season, didn't really feature anymore because Pep didn't really trust him anymore. So that's the next position. Now they strengthen that holding role that they really needed to strengthen, and that was the objective. They will focus on the centre-back. And we also saw today that Angelino, their former player, who then they sold to PSV with a clause to buy back, which will go through, I think, or has gone through. So the left-back position will probably be secure as well, with Zinchenko extending his contract not long ago as well. So it's all getting there in places, but I think centre-back is the next one.
For more, sign now for ESPN Plus.